All right, I am back on the 72 Ford Gran Torino project. I've pulled this motor last time in another video, and it's been sitting and sitting, and I've been procrastinating, all because I just didn't want to take it apart because I'm going to replace the heads. When I took these exhaust manifolds off, this side here, 4 of the bolts snapped in the head. I broke drill bit after drill bit. I even was able to re-tap 3 of the 4, and then the last one, the thread chaser snapped in the bolt hole. So I was like, I'm done. So I ordered a new head for this side, and that's in this box right here. The other side only has 1 broken bolt. I drilled it out, and then I broke an extractor in the head. I'm going to try to use a torch on that one. So all the head work, new intake manifold, new oil pump, new fuel pump, new water pump, all that other stuff I'm going to do while it's on the engine stand. I've been procrastinating, working on other projects, saying that I knew this Torino was going to be a long project, but I got to get on this thing. I at least got to put this engine up on the engine stand and start taking it apart. Start taking the heads off, start taking the intake manifold, all that stuff off. I have a new distributor for it, new carburetor, all that stuff has to get put on this engine. So the engine's not going to get rebuilt because it only had, I think it said 89,000 miles on it, or 83,000 miles, something like that. And it ran real good. So I'm just going to take it off the heads, or on this side at least, I'm going to take this head off, put the new head on, put the new intake manifold on, flip the engine upside down and clean it all out, put the new oil pan and pickup screen, put all new gaskets on it. I'm going to take the other head off anyway because I'm just going to go ahead and put a new head gasket on that side too. So stay tuned. Actually, one of the other things that was holding me back was taking this nasty ass torque converter off because I was having trouble getting to the access point the way I had this thing sitting on the engine or on this cradle here. But I was able to do it, just put my mind to it. I was able to get to the access hole. I took the exhaust manifolds were basically helping support the engine. So I just moved those out of the way and I was able to get the torque converter off. Now, as you can see, there's a socket on the flywheel. I'm going to take the flywheel off, take the inspection cover off, and then I'm going to mount the engine stand. I bought a big block engine stand. I already got the engine hoist balance on here, so I'm going to mount the bracket on the back once I take this flywheel off, and then I'm going to lift this engine up with the cherry picker. Cherry picker is right there. I'm going to bring the engine stand in and sit this engine on the engine stand. Let's get to work. When I pull the engine and transmission apart originally, the transmission's sitting right here. When I originally pulled the 2 pieces apart and pulled the starter out of the car, before I pulled the transmission, I noticed that there was like a rat's nest in this thing. So you can kind of see here, there's still some stuff left over. So it's a good thing I'm taking the flywheel off and cleaning the back of the engine off. Better for painting, making sure everything's good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and finish taking these bolts off. I got the bolts right here ready to go for the engine hoist, so I'm going to get on that. Well, it looks like we found our culprit. Here's what's left of a carcass of a dead mouse. Yep. So let me get this inspection cover off. Come on, baby. Oh yeah, look at all that. Let's see. Yummy. That is grimy. Since I have the whole gasket set, I plan to do a rear main seal, so I can pull the crank off. I might put new main bearings in and do the rear main seal. There's no sign of any leak on the bottom, but I might as well do it since the engine's out of the car. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning this up and getting it ready to be mounted. Alright, so I got the bracket mounted. I wanted 5-inch bolts like this one. I went to Lowe's, Home Depot, hardware store, couldn't get them. Went to another Lowe's a couple towns over, and they did have 6-inch ones. So I got 3 6-inch ones. They're a little bit longer, so I just used some bolts and washers as spacers. and it should be good to go. I've already removed the intake manifold off. This is the head that I'm going to be removing, and I'm kind of debating on replacing them both. I'm going to try to clean this out because you can see this coolant port here. It's pretty caked on. It's pretty dirty. The exhaust ports look fine, but the coolant ports don't look exactly, or the coolant jackets don't look exactly the best. So that head's getting replaced anyway. That's the one that's in that box right there. And then this side, looks like there was a little bit of oil leak on the back of the intake on this side. You can see here it's wet, and a little bit right here around this coolant port here. The oil on this engine was clean. It wasn't milky or gray or anything like that, so it wasn't mixing as far as I can tell. But the valley looks pretty grimy. I'm going to clean this all up obviously before I put the new weigh-in intake on it. I'm just excited to get this thing up on the engine stand. I'm going to put the engine stand together. This is the bracket for the back here, and then I'm going to put the rest of the engine stand together. Let's get this engine up on here. Alright, the engine's on the engine stand. Everything's tight. I did buy some more drill bits, and I bought an acetylene torch setup so I can see if I can save this head. If I can clean this head and just get this one extractor out right there. I've tried drilling into it, you can see, but I was the only broken one on this side. The rest of them are all good. So I'm going to see if I can save this one head. I had a tough time finding that one head to replace this one. And this one here, I retapped that one. This is the one that has the broken extractor, or excuse me, the thread chaser, the die set, the tap set, excuse me, the broken tap is in there. And then there's one in here with a broken drill bit. You can see that one's almost out. And then this guy, another broken drill bit's in there. So with all the issues on this head, I said, forget it. I'm going to go ahead and try to find a replacement. So one of the first things I'm probably going to do is pull this head off. And to pull the head off, obviously, take the valve cover off, take the rocker arms off, pull the push rods out, and then take the head itself off. And then this head will go to the scrap pile. And then I'm going to debate on replacing that one. If I can clean those journals out. And the coolant journal's pretty caked in there. I'm going to do some research, see if I can find another head. Make sure this one wasn't damaged, but I don't like how there's oil in there. Alright, let's get to work. Alright, so I've removed the valve covers off of both heads. And this is the head I will be replacing. So I've already removed the valve covers off. I've taken the rockers off this side. I am not going to remove the rockers off this one just as of yet until I find, if I can find another head to replace this. A set of aluminum heads for this big block 429 is anywhere between $2,000 and up, basically. I've seen some cheap ones for $1,200 plus shipping and everything. Basically looking at $2,000 to replace with aluminum heads. This used head is redone and cleaned up with all new springs and valves in it, and it's a beautiful head. The machine shop that did it did a great job with it. Let me show it to you real quick. You can see how clean it is. It's in real good shape. I'm gonna put that on here in a minute just to see how she looks. So I've already cracked the head bolts loose. I'm gonna replace all the head bolts with new ARP bolts. So I'm gonna I already cracked them all loose. I'm gonna use the small impact to continue to take them off now. So getting stuck on the air compressor here. Let me get this. Kind of hard to do with one hand. All right, so I got the head off on this side. The engine cylinders and pistons actually look really good. You can tell it's a low mile engine. It's just dirty. There's no scratches on the walls. They look real good. The pistons themselves look real clean, as far as like no scrapes, scratches, no cracks, just dirty. So I'm gonna clean this up real good. I think I am gonna remove the other head, just to clean up the engine real good. Put new head gaskets on both sides. I'll go ahead and pull that head off also. Clean up the engine real good. And like I said, new head gasket. Clean up the pistons and the cylinders. Clean all the main valley out real good. I have to take the oil pan off anyway because I'm going to put the high volume oil pump in. So I'm just going to put a catch pan underneath this thing, degrease the hell out of it, clean it real good, paint it real good, and start reassembling it with a new head. Hopefully another new head, unless I can get the aluminum ones. We'll see. But if I can find another good rebuilt cast iron head like these do weigh about 50 pounds a piece, maybe 60 pounds a piece. You can see the ones on the ground over there. That one's going to the scrap. I'm just real happy from basically not touching this engine for months and finally get over the procrastination and start digging into this thing. So I'm going to stop for right now.